ever walk into a club, like totally get blown away, not just by the band, but by someone actually making art right there in the middle of it all?
Yeah.
That's Billy Martinez.
It's amazing.
This guy's energy is off the charts. He starts out, takes the comic book world by storm, right?
Yeah.
But then he's like, okay, I'm going to jump into fine art now.
Right.
And now he's basically like captivating people with these live art performances. You might have even seen his work before, like maybe on Family Guy stuff or some of those Hellboy trading cards.
Yeah, he's got a really interesting story too, because he really embodies this whole shift in like how we even experience art these days.
Oh, totally.
He doesn't want to be put in a box, like, oh, you're just a comic book artist.
Yeah.
Or, you're just a fine art painter. He's doing it all. And he's not just stuck in a traditional gallery scene either.
Yeah.
He's out there blurring the lines, creating this whole vibe, this whole experience. It's very of the moment, if you know what I mean.
Totally.
Yeah.
And the thing is, this guy's like always ahead of the curve, which is kind of mind-blowing when you think about it, because he starts his career back in the early 90s, right? With that indie comic Wildflower.
Yeah, and this is prime time, like the indie comic book boom is going on.
Huge.
So there's all this energy, all this experimentation happening.
Right.
And for him to just jump into that scene, be like, I'm publishing my own work right out of the gate, that says a lot about like his hustle, his entrepreneurial spirit, right?
No, you got to respect that. He doesn't just stop at indie comics, though. This guy's working with the big leagues, too. Top Cow, Image Comics, even Heavy Metal Magazine.
The who's who of, like, 90s comics.
Exactly. But then, almost out of nowhere, he makes this hard left turn and starts doing art for, like, trading cards. We're talking Family Guy, Hellboy. What's that about?
I think this really highlights something important about being an artist, especially back then. You had to diversify, find ways to keep the lights on, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And trading cards back in the day, that was a huge market.
Oh, yeah.
So it let him, like, use his talent in a totally different way.
It's like he had this uncanny knack for finding where the energy was,
Absolutely.
And that kind of leads us to 1999 when he creates Snecko Press. But this wasn't just about putting his own stuff out there. This was about lifting up other artists.
100%.
Yeah.
That's what's so cool about his story, I think. He'd been through it. He knew how hard it was to get a foot in the door as an artist.
Right.
So he decided to build a door. Snecko Press launched a lot of careers, let me tell you.
That's amazing.
And the whole time he's running this company, he's still producing his own work. You've got Kick-Ass Girl, right?
Yeah.
But then you've also got those incredible graphic novels like The Deepest Dark, where he goes deep, man.
Intense.
Psychological, dark, complex themes. And even his how to draw books, they weren't your typical draw a circle now, add some eyes kind of thing.
Oh, really?
He focused on dynamic figure drawing. It was all about movement, expression, like bringing characters to life.
Wow, he's like the real deal.
Absolutely.
All right, so picture this. Early 2000s, San Diego club scene is going wild.
Oh, yeah.
And there's Martinez on stage painting live with bands like Z-Trip and Red Sonja just blasting in the background. Can you imagine that energy? The music, the crowd, the art just like exploding onto the canvas right in front of you.
Talk about immersive art.
Right.
He tapped into this thing that people were craving something more than just a painting hanging on the wall.
Right.
People wanted to be a part of it. Like experience the energy of art being made right before their eyes.
It's a whole different way to connect with art.
Totally.
And he's not just painting up there. He's talking to the crowd, selling his work right there in the middle of the club. Talk about a smart businessman.
Yeah, for sure.
And get this, these days you can still catch him doing live art. But now he's traded those thumping nightclubs for a place steeped in history, Printer's Alley in Nashville. It's pretty cool, actually.
That's a great example of how he uses location to add a whole other layer to his work. You're talking about this place, Printer's Alley, which is like steeped in music history, becomes part of the art itself, right?
Yeah.
It's like he's always searching for those new ways to innovate, new ways to connect with people.
It's really impressive, honestly. And on top of all this, he still makes time for teaching. Sequential art, fine art painting, you name it, he's passing on what he knows.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder how many people out there have actually mastered one art form, let alone like seamlessly blended comics, fine art, and performance the way this guy has.
It's really something. I think his whole career really makes us rethink what it means to be an artist in this day and age, because he's adaptable, he's got that entrepreneurial spirit, and he's not afraid to, try new things, experiment, push those creative boundaries.
Yeah, he just keeps evolving. So, and anyone listening who might be feeling a little stuck, a little boxed in by, whatever path you're on, take a page from Billy Martinez.
Yeah.
Let his story remind you that creative paths aren't always a straight line, right?
Yeah.
I mean, go check out his work online. And hey, if you're ever in Nashville, maybe see if you can catch one of his shows. You might just be surprised at what you find.